Well, Donald Trump is preparing to turn himself into authorities to face criminal charges in New York today. Last week, a grand jury indicted the former president over his alleged involvement in a hush money payment made to adult film star Stormy Daniels.
I really don't expect to get a lot of views on this video because of what is in it, but I'll make it anyway. At the time of the making of this video, the American news cycle is swamped with images of the former president of the United States, Donald Trump. Those that are interested in educating themselves on current events are now speculating about the indictment and the future of the former president. If President Trump is not in your newsfeed, then we are forced to watch images of a transgender school shooter and the debate over whether it is morally incorrect to misgender that human if it is a human. If we aren't watching that show, then we have to wrap our minds around the latest natural disaster taking 17 lives. And if not that, then we have to watch the current leader of the free world stumble around in some foreign ice cream parlor. That's funny until it's not. While the focus of the American population wander in every unimportant direction, the masses remain too self-absorbed to focus on what is important. I'm not saying that the current debacle with the former president is an intentional distraction, but maybe inadvertently it is a distraction. A distraction from what? A distraction from the formation of defeat. Please allow me to explain. The world is changing right before our eyes, folks. And while America for decades have been seated at the head of the table, at this current moment in history, it no longer is. Soon, it may not even have a seat at the table. When did this happen? While you were busy lamenting Orange Man, gender ideology, and shiny objects. A couple of minor articles have slipped into the American news cycle, showing us that Russia and China, the new apparent world leader, are now seeking to overthrow the US dollar. This is a foolish notion since China and Russia are already trading with the yuan, being the currency of trade. The equivalent of over $160 billion have already been traded with Russia using the Chinese currency, and there is no sign of letting up anytime soon. The Chinese are backing their currency with gold as their gold reserves expand, no doubt from mining the nations of the world. Brazil is also trading with China using the yuan, and this is happening while the almighty United States is incessantly printing money, which any entry-level economic student will tell you will devalue the dollar. We use 10 tons of ink every month to print new currency, or what some call funny money. This is not the main thing, however. China has managed to do what the US has failed to do for decades. That is, broker peace in the Middle East. Saudi Arabia and Iran have come upon a peace deal that was brokered by China. Yes, China. This was in no doubt mimicking the deal brokered by the Trump administration spearheaded by Jared Kushner. So, as things stand, China, Russia, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Brazil, and their allies, most of which are oil-producing nations, are all sitting at a table to which America has not been invited. If you don't believe that America has lost its place on the world stage, then you should take a look at its latest move. Now America is politely asking China to intervene in the Russia-Ukraine conflict to solve it. Let's not use the word war, just conflict. Doesn't look good. The World Economic Forum predicted that America would no longer be the world's preeminent superpower. This had to happen before 2030, and it is happening right now. Now you may ask, why don't the US do something to stop this transference of power into communist leadership and the possibility of the tyrannical rule of the world? Because the insatiable politicians have been promised comfort and wealth. In other words, their positions would be counted as safe as the world descends into chaos. So as the powers that be continue to fracture the world, prophecy becomes clearer. As I said earlier, the feet are forming. When we talk of the feet of iron and clay, seen in the image that Nebuchadnezzar dreamed and Daniel interpreted, we tend to focus on the 10 toes, which are 10 kings. We tend to focus on the iron and clay as well, and it is fitting that we try to comprehend these elements of the prophecy. What we often overlook is the fact that there are 2 feet. This is important. Just as there are 2 arms on the image which represented the Medes and the Persians, the 2 feet is a more pronounced division. The arms were joined together by the chest, showing a strong alliance between the Medes and the Persians. The feet, however, are not joined together at all. This shows us that the world will be divided. The 10 toes are also the 10 horns in Revelation 17, which are 10 kings that will give their power over to one leader, the Antichrist. Revelation 17, 12 and 13. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. Could it be that we are seeing the formation of the feet of the image that Nebuchadnezzar saw? 2 leagues of nations that will exist in the last days. I believe we are. There will be 2 feet, but the only way this could exist is if the hidden ruling kings posture the nations against each other, hence the 2 factions. The Antichrist will become the tyrannical ruler of the world. This cannot happen if America is America, meaning as long as America is the world's leading superpower, it continues to be guided by the founding principles. It will stand in the way of tyrannical rule and demonic communist ideology. America was the last true bastion of freedom and true democratic leadership for the people and by the people. At least it theoretically adheres to that stance at this point. This is the reason for many diabolical schemes against it and its citizens. Pray for this nation. Pray for its revival. Now think about that.
I'm wading through this